We are all aware that every student is not similarly situated. While others have the privilege and the luxury to pursue their studies, there are also lots of students who suffer from the difficulties of today's education system. So as we have seen how the pandemic affected the education system of the country, including the UNOS, this resolution ought to provide inclusivity and development without compromising the welfare of the students, as well as their rights to the free quality education. Thus, together with Ms. Angeline Dagta and all the representatives of our council, we present to you um, a resolution urging the Bicol University Vice President for the Academic Affairs to require BU teaching faculty to upload tasks and requirements on their allotted time schedule. Whereas, as stated in the BU Student Handbook, Article 6, Section 8, page 50, the 11th right of every student is the right to redress grievances against any wrong or injustices committed against him or her, and or other students by any member of the academic community in accordance with defined channels of authority therein. Whereas, according to CHED Memo Number 4, Series of 2020, private and public universities and colleges shall observe flexible learning amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. Whereas the aforementioned CHED Memo defines flexible learning as a pedagogical approach allowing flexibility of time, place, and audience including, not solely focused on the use of technology. The CHED Memo addresses learners' unique needs in terms of place, pace, process, and products of learning. Flexible learning is a convertible teaching and learning design that considers the student's need for various access to course content and recognition of their diverse learning styles. Whereas Google Classroom is one of the tools that Bicol University is using for flexible learning. Google Classroom is a learning management system that aims to simplify creating, distributing, and reading assignments and engaging students in learning online or remotely. Whereas not all students have access and resources for flexible learning. There are students who still find difficulties in this new normal setup, which affects their mental health. Students should have a better space and atmosphere of learning. No student should feel the pressure to learn and acquire knowledge. Whereas some professors give tasks or requirements beyond their allotted time schedule, this practice gives students inadequate time to work and prepare for their assignments. This also affects the student mentally and physically due to stress. Whereas the teaching faculty should give the student a minimum of 1 week time allowance in submitting their given tasks upon the uploading of the said requirement in the Google Classroom. Failure of the student to complete the assignments on the given time, knowing the consequences of their action, the faculty can give another chance and extend the deadline for the student to comply and submit the requirements not later than the end of the semester. Whereas if the professor still leaves activities or projects without prior notice on her given schedule despite of the resolution, the students can complain by number one, sending a letter of complaint with the attachment of a screenshot to their college student council officers. Number two, sending a letter of complaint with the attached screenshot to the grievance office of student council. Number three, sending a letter to the office of the dean containing the complaint for further action. Whereas monthly reports containing the list of professors who gives tasks or requirements beyond their allotted time schedule and the compiled complaints with attached receipts from the students will then be presented with the help of College Student Council or CSEs, which will be sent to the University Student Council, who will take the responsibility of submitting the reports to the Office of the Vice President for Academic Affairs for proper and legal actions. Whereas this will give opportunities to students in raising their voices as part of the institution's inclusivity and development. Now, therefore, urging the General Legislative members to approve the regulation that will urge the Vice President for Academic Affairs to require the BU teaching faculty to upload tasks and requirements on their allotted time schedule. Be it resolved that the resolution copy will be distributed to all offices for immediate approval. So by this, Madam Chair, I move for the adoption of the resolution number 2, series of 2022 of the first reading. Thank you.
There is a motion for the adoption of resolution number 2, series of 2022 to its second or to its first reading. Do we hear a second? Again, do we hear a second? Mr. Aller, you are now recognized.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I would like to manifest something. I am a little bit sad because some of the recommendations during the consultative meeting given by various members of this August body was not considered by the authors, specifically mentioning the hampering of the academic freedom of the professors. Also, um, the cited process in the resolution regarding academic grievance in the college and in the university is not congruent with what's within the student handbook. Um, the academic grievance committee procedure goes like this. The first is the student will send a letter to the department chair, and then if it's not corrected within that level, it's sent to the dean, to the college grievance council, and then it'll be sent to the VPAH, and then the VPAA tawag dito, will convene the academic grievance committee. So that's how the academic grievance procedure within our university works. And I think this is not congruent, and I think we can improve this with the suggestions given during the consultative meeting. But if the authors wouldn't really want to do that, I leave it to this body to decide to adopt this resolution.
Thank you for your manifestation, Mr. Aller. Now we still proceed with the pending motion. There is a motion to adopt the resolution number 1 or resolution number 2, series of 2022 to the first for its first reading. Do we hear a second? Someone raised a hand. Now I will recognize Mr. Sorry, can someone please assist me in identifying the full name of the Bukal CSE representative who chatted? Mr. Britannico, you are now recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, to explain further, before the final
Again, Mr. Britannico, you are recognized.
Okay, good afternoon po. Am I audible po?
Yes, you are audible. It's just that my device was muted again. Apologies for that.
Okay, so before the final submission of the revised copy of our resolution, I talked to Madam Chair if we can withdraw our resolution because may emergency po kasi ako na kailangan attendan, and because of that, I didn't able to revise fully the resolution, and hindi ko din nalagay po yung mga recommendations from Mr. Chair po. That's why po nag-ask ako if I can withdraw our resolution. But unfortunately, Madam Chair said that nalagay na daw siya sa call of order. I don't know, pero yun po. So ginawa ko na lang po is to attend this GLA and at least present our resolution. Thank you.
Thank you for your manifestation, Mr. Britannico. Now we proceed to the pending motion. Do we hear a second again for the adoption of the resolution number 2 series of 2022 for its first reading?
Franca, may I be recognized, Madam Chair?
Yes, Mr. Aller, you are now recognized.
Thank you very much po. Thank you very much for sharing and manifesting the problems you have encountered for the representative from Bukal. But I really understood the point that the two representatives are taking during the discussion we had, and I think we really need those ideas that they have, and I hope that they would present it in a resolution next GLA meeting. I am giving my support to both representatives for doing their job and making this resolution, although it needs improvement. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Mr. Aller, for your manifestation. So, for the last time, I will ask for if anyone will second the motion to adopt the resolution number 2, series of 2022 to its first reading. Are there any second? Hearing none. So since that the motion for the adoption of the first reading of the resolution number 2 series of 2022 is denied by the body, therefore I declare that this this resolution number 2 series of 2022 entitled resolution requiring Bicol University teaching faculty to upload tasks and requirements on their allotted time schedule in Google Classroom is hereby not carried and not approved. Now we proceed to the third resolution. A resolution upgrading the student identification card of students by changing the barcode system with quick response or QR code system and appropriating funds therefore and other purposes as proposed by Mr. Dan Lester M. Llorente. Now I call in the author to kindly present it to us. Again, Mr. Llorente, you are now recognized and you can now proceed, Mr. Llorente. Again, is Mr. Llorente still around? Can someone please assist me from the PR committee and the Sergeant at Arms to please call the attention of Mr. Llorente to be able to present his resolution, proposed resolution? Due to time constraint, so for now we will be skipping the reading of this third resolution and proceed first to the next resolution. Resolution number 4, series of 2022, a resolution entitled Resolution Making Bicol University Campus as a Hub for PhilSys, National ID Registration of Bicol University Students. I now call in the authors of this resolution, Ludmila Espongo and Gatlea Madrona, to kindly proceed to the presentation. Ms. Ludmila Fungo and Ms. Catlea Madrona, I again call your attention. And again, I would like to request for the assistance of the Sergeant at Arms and the PR committee to please assist the Chief Legislative Officer to notify them that they are now about to present their resolution.
Madam Chair, may I be recognized po?
Yes, you are recognized. Kindly introduce yourself.
From the Sergeant of Arms, Mr. Paul Iranala, there has been no response yet from Mr. Llorente as of now po.
Thank you for that, Mr. Ala. How about Ms. Katleya Madrana and Ms. Pungo? So as per the technical committee, Ms. The partners in the partners in the proposition of the resolution number 4 is now entering the Zoom meeting. We just have to wait for them.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. May I be recognized?
Yes, you are recognized. Kindly introduce yourself.
Okay po. Hello po, I'm Linda Sermetic po, one of the proponents of the resolution number 4 po. So allow me to present to you already and start this resolution. So first, the university aims to develop a globally competitive and relevant and also a service-oriented professionals who will meet the demands of the industry and whose passion for excellence is an inspiration to others. But of course, we cannot achieve this if our students do not have a proper identification. And as the authors, we believe that having the sense of identifications, this leads to a secure life, especially in this time of pandemic. Now, the PhilSys National ID is the most important identification document for the Philippine citizens and some of the resident aliens in the Philippines. And based on a 2018 survey, there are 50% unregistered students in the Philippines. And one of the main reasons why they are not registered is because of the unavailability of an accessible branch office, where opportunities should be provided to these students so that they can acquire their PhilSys National ID without much hassle. And for most people, without a documented legal identity, incorrect or inadequate identification, documents, it causes problems to both private and their public lives. So with that, to empower people with a solid identity is not only a basic right, but should also be one of the prerequisites for effective elevation and social justice. With that, we present to you our proposed resolution entitled a resolution urging Bicol University campuses as a designated hub for PhilSys National ID registration of Bicol University students. The proponents are yours truly and Ms. Katleya Madrona. So whereas in the modern day world, digitized identity is required for everybody to present online securely and smartly, having a valid form of identification is becoming increasingly important in today's less than secure society. This will help protect students and lead to many future benefits. Whereas 4 years ago, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte signed into law in August 2018, Republic Act 11,055, or the Philippine Identification Act, that aims to establish a single national ID for all Filipinos and resident aliens, in which a valid ID gives recognition to an individual for academic purposes. This is especially very important for college and university students, where he or she can be identified as one who is part of the institution. Whereas we believe that in order to fully appreciate everything that is offered to us as a student, we should make sure we are prepared for what is asked for us by having proper identification when required. Whereas the College Student Council of Bicol University College of Arts and Letters would like to pass a resolution designating Bicol University campuses as a registration hub for PhilSys National ID of Bicol University students. This is to give the students easy access to its registration in cooperation with the Philippine Statistics Authority. More specifically, a guide and support to students who have not yet registered. Whereas bona fide students of Bicol University ages 17 to 27 years old are encouraged to register. Well, due to the situation, we will strictly comply with no outsiders as we are ensuring the safety and welfare of the students during the said registration. Whereas the location of registration will be at each campus and college. Moreover, the Bustang Gymnasium shall serve as the main headquarters of the said registration in case of an emergency. A timeline shall be crafted by the head committee that will be followed strictly by each college and campus. Whereas the head committee shall consist of the following groups: University Student Council, presidents of the College Student Council, College Student Activities and Services Coordinator, and Philippine Statistics Authority. Whereas the Facilitators Committee shall consist of the following groups: Vice President and representatives of the College Student Council, department-based organization, and Team Alba Youth Inc. Team Alba Youth Organization Inc. Whereas the operating budget for the registration shall be catered by the Philippine Statistics Authority. Whereas college is a challenge time for many young people, and it's a period of growth and transition as they learn to adapt to the demand of the university without the university's environment, without the protection and restriction of their parents' home. To which equipping yourself with a valid ID helps you become a thriving person in a society. Now, therefore, urging the general legislative members to approve the regulation that designates Bicol University campuses as a registration hub of PhilSC's national ID of Bicol University students. Be it resolved that the resolution copy will be distributed to all offices for immediate approval. Madam Chair, I move for the adoption of the resolution number 4, series of 2022 of the first reading.
There is a motion for the adoption of resolution number 4, series of 2022 for its first reading. Do we hear a second?
Second the motion, Madam Chair.
Are there any manifestation? Hearing none, we shall now proceed to the division of the House. Are you ready for the question?
Question.
To those who are in favor for the adoption of the resolution number 4, series of 2022 to its first reading, kindly type I to the chat box, and to those who are not in favor, kindly type nay, and to those who wishes to abstain, kindly type abstain. You will be given 1 minute to cast your votes or to type your votes. So, seeing the votes, we have it. So, due to the general consent of the members of the General Legislative Council, I now declare that the motion for the adoption of the resolution number 4, series of 2032 to its first reading is hereby carried and approved. Now we proceed to the second reading of the resolution number 4, series of 2022. Again, I would like to call in the author of the proposed resolution to kindly present it to us.
Madam Chair, may I be recognized?
Yes, Mr. Aller, you are recognized.
To efficiently process this resolution, I move to suspend the second reading of this resolution.
There is a motion to suspend the second reading of resolution number 4, series of 2022. Do we hear a second? hear a second?
I second the motion.
I second.
Are there any other manifestation or objection? Hearing none, the motion to suspend the second reading of resolution number 4, series of 2022 is hereby carried and approved by general consent. Now we shall proceed to the debate proper, and again we will be adhering to the previously agreed mode of limit of the debate. So now I will be calling the External Relations Committee as the sponsor of this resolution. If you have something to say for the affirmative side of this resolution, you may now raise it and I will be recognizing you. Or anyone from this assembly who wishes to speak for the affirmative side of this, in support of this resolution, kindly type, may I be recognized?
Madam Chair, may I be recognized?
Yes, Mr. Aller, you are now recognized.
I would like to speak on behalf of the affirmative side.
Kindly proceed.
Thank you very much po. I have just received my Philippines National ID last week. I was very happy even though the photograph was not good. And I've been using it for my transactions with the government, even with Bicol University in the past week. And I see that it's very efficient for students like me who doesn't have any other license or identification aside from driver's license and Bicol University ID. And I would like to urge this body to approve this resolution, for it would benefit not only the students of the university, but also we can cater to our personnel. Most of the personnel of the university are on the bracket of 50 or higher, and this would also help them since they would not need to go to the mall and other kiosks of the Philippine Statistics Authority to register for the national ID. And that would be all, ma'am. I support this resolution, and I hope the assemblymen of this council would also support this. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your manifestation, Mr. Aller. Now, we'll proceed to the negative side. Are there anyone who would like to speak in objection or the opposition of the proposed resolution of the authors? I repeat, are there any speakers who would like to manifest or comment in contradiction to the proposed resolution, in contrary to the proposed resolution? Hearing none, I shall now proceed to the affirmative side again. Is there anyone who would like to manifest for the affirmative side? Okay, hearing none, are there any more manifestation? Okay, again, hearing none, we shall now proceed to the amendments and revisions of resolution number 4, series of 2022. May I ask for the assistance of the Secretary General to please assist in the reviewing of the resolution? Now, the title reads as a resolution declaring the regulation of correct usage of pronouns and honorifics. Sorry, that was a mistake. Now, the title reads, a resolution declaring the regulation of correct. Now, it formally reads, a resolution urging Bicol University campuses as a designated hub for PhilSys national ID registration of Bicol University students. Are there any amendments as to the title of this resolution? Again, I repeat the question. Are there any amendments for the title of this resolution?
May I be recognized, Madam Chair?
Yes, Mr. Aller, you are now recognized.
I would like to remove the students and change it with Bicol University community so that we can include the staff and
There is a motion to change the word students and replace it with the word community and incorporate it in the title. Now, are there any more amendments to the title of this resolution?
Sami Madula, 42.3%. Samira Buto, 27.2%. At Mayor
Last call, are there any more amendments for this title?
93.9%. Leody de Guzman, 30.1%. Ping Lacson, 1.7%.
Decorum. Please maintain decorum during the assembly, and I will now be asking for the assistance of the PR team and technical team to kindly mute anyone who unmute their microphones without recognition from the Chief Legislative Officer. Now again, are there any amendments as to the title of this resolution? Hearing none, now we proceed to the first clause. May I request for the section to kindly zoom in the resolution? Thank you. So the first clause reads, whereas in the modern day world, digitized identity is required for everybody to be present online securely and smartly, and having a valid form of identification is becoming increasingly important in today's less than secure society. This will help protect students and lead to many future benefits. Are there any amendments to the first clause? Hearing none, let's proceed to the second clause. The second clause reads, whereas 4 years ago, President Rodrigo R. Duterte signed into law in August 2018, Republic Act 11055 or the Philippine Identification Act that aims to establish a single national ID for all Filipinos and resident aliens, in which a valid ID gives recognition to an individual for academic purposes This is especially very important for college and university students where he or she can be identified as one who is part of the institution. Are there any amendments to this clause?
Madam Chair, may I be recognized?
Yes, Mr. Aller, you are now recognized.
May I ask the author what were they pertaining to in the last part, where he or she can be identified as one of who is part of the institution?
So there is an inquiry from one of our members to the author. Ms. Pungo, would you like to respond to the question?
Madam Chair, may I be recognized po?
Yes, you are now recognized.
Okay po. With that part, before that, Madam Chair, may I speak in a vernacular language po?
Yes, you may kindly proceed.
Okay, thank you po. With that po, with the said institution, it's between Bicol University itself and you as a Filipino citizen po. Ayan.
Thank you so much, Ms. Pungo. Now we proceed again. Are there any more amendments as to the second clause of this resolution? Hearing none, now we
Madam
proceed.
Chair. Sorry. May I be recognized?
Yes, again, Mr. Aller, you are recognized.
Propose an amendment. Let's remove the part that this is especially very important for college and university students where he or she can be identified as one of who is part of the institution, since the ID does not provide where you are going to in college, and the ID cannot identify if you're a student of an institution.
There is a motion to remove the phrase, "This is especially very important for college and university students where he or she can be identified as one who is part of the institution." This motion is likely to be removed from the second clause of this resolution. Are there any other amendments? Hearing none, let's now proceed to the third clause. The third clause reads, "Whereas we believe that in order to fully appreciate everything that is offered to us as students, we should make sure we are prepared for what is asked of us by having proper identification when required." Are there any amendments as to this third clause? Hearing none, now we proceed to the next clause. Whereas the College Student Council of Bicol University College of Arts and Letters would like to pass a resolution designating Bicol University campuses as a registration hub for PhilSys National ID of Bicol University students. This is to give the students easy access to its registration in cooperation with the Philippine Statistics Authority, more specifically, a guide and support to students who have not yet registered.
Madam Chair, may I be recognized?
Yes, Mr. Aller, you are recognized.
Thank you very much. The clause itself is declarative. It's saying that we can designate Bicol University campuses. Let's put there what they have put in the title. The College Student Council of Bicol University College of Arts and Letters would like to urge the administration through this resolution to designate Bicol University campuses as a registration hub for PhilSys National ID of Bicol University Community. Also in congruence with the title, this is to give the students easy access to its registration. This is to give Bicol University easy access to its registration in cooperation with the Philippine Statistics Authority, more specifically a guide to support in cooperation with the Philippine Statistics Authority. Let's end it there po, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Mr. Aller. So there is a motion. motion, and may request Mr. Aller to kindly type or encode your motion so the Secretariat Committee will be able to specifically and exactly write what you just have, input what you just have raised as a motion. Now, while we are waiting for that, are there any more amendments to this clause? Hearing none, we shall now proceed to the next clause. It reads, whereas bona fide students of Bicol University ages 17 to 27 years old whereas bona fide students of Bicol University ages 17 to 27 years old are encouraged to register. Due to the situation, we will strictly comply with no outsiders as we are ensuring the safety and welfare of the students during the said registration. Are there any amendments as to this clause?
Recognize.
Yes, Ms. Justin Nicole, you are now recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Can I speak in vernacular na lang? Yung sa bona fide students of Bicol University ages
Yes, Ms.
17.
Justin, you may now proceed.
Yes po, speaking na. Yung ages 17 to 27, can we change it? Kasi sa College of Medicine and College of Law, pati yung sa graduate school, may mga above 27 pa. So, I think dapat ages 17 and above ito. And also, dun sa sinabi ni Mr. Alier, yung bona fide students lang, since dun sa sinabi niya kanina is for the community ng Bicol University. So, yun lang po.
So, there is a motion to change. Okay, so it's a manifestation. Would you like to raise that or put that into a motion, Ms. De Vera? Again, Ms. De Vera, would you like to put your manifestation into a motion?
Yes po, Madam Chair.
Kindly put it in a motion. Ms. De Vera? Since Ms. De Vera is currently experiencing internet connectivity problems or difficulties, now, if the body will agree, we ask someone to kindly raise it, kindly raise the motion in behalf of Ms. De Vera. Yes, Ms. Larska, you are now recognized.
I have a manifestation regarding what Ms. De Vera had said. So I would like to add to the clause, the community of Bicol University, including students, teaching and non-teaching staff, ages 17 years old and above. So that's the manifestation.
Thank you, Ms. Larson. Would you like to put your manifestation into a motion?
Yes, please. So the motion would be that I move to amend the clause. Pangilang clause na po yan?
Is Can I proceed? Because the Secretariat Committee is still verifying.
I move to amend the fifth clause. Whereas the community of Bicol University, including students, teaching and non-teaching staff, ages 17 to 27 years old and above, are encouraged to register. With the resolution, we will strictly comply with no outsiders as we are ensuring the safety and welfare of the students during this registration.
Thank you, Ms. Larce. Kindly, may we request for you to kindly encode or type your motion for the Secretariat Committee's precise, exact inputting of your motion.
Okay, so this afternoon, discussing about the sensory system in behavioral and reproduction of disease. Okay.
Now, while we are waiting, we shall now proceed to, I would like to ask again, are there any other amendments as to this clause?
This pertains
Hearing none, we shall now proceed to the next clause.
by teachers to gather information about the environment.
Whereas the location of registrations will be at each campus and college, and moreover, the Buseng Gymnasium shall serve as the main headquarters of the headquarter of the said registration in case of an emergency. A timeline shall be crafted by the head committee that will be followed strictly by each college and campus. Are there any amendments as to this clause?
Madam Chair, may I be recognized?
Mr. Alar, you are now recognized.
I move to remove this clause from this resolution since we cannot dictate where one facility would Bicol University be willing to designate as a facility for registration hub, and we need approval through a proposal where we would like to conduct this activity. So this would be limiting our proposal through that specific area, and if it's not available, the proposal will not move or will be stagnant. That's my suggestion.
Thank you for putting it into motion. Mr. Aller, there is a motion to exclude this specific clause from the resolution number 4 series of 2022. Are there any more manifestations or amendments as to this clause? Hearing none, we shall proceed to the next clause. It reads, whereas the head committee shall consist of the following groups: the University Student Council, the President of the College Student Council, the College Student Activities and Services Coordinator, and Philippine Statistics Authority. Are there any amendments as to this clause?
They tend to look for a main
Hearing none, we shall now
Madam
proceed.
Chair. Madam Chair.
Yes, or not.
hindi lang yung they can protect,
Madam Chair.
tapos they can change. Dapat yung quality nila.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I move to amend by adding the last sentence of the previous clause that we have just removed. I want to go it like a head committee shall be
So the sensory system of case
chat at Madam Chair na lang.
system involve two major system. Meron dalawang major system. One of these is the lateral line, and the other one is the inner ear. Okay? The inner ear. These two major systems is what comprise or is collectively referred to as the acoustico
Okay, so there is a motion from Mr. Aller and he will be typing the entire the passage of this motion. Now we proceed. Are there any other amendments?
that you can detect
Hearing none, we shall proceed to the next clause.
the surrounding water. And also the inner ear.
For the next clause, it reads, whereas the facilitators committee shall consist of the following groups: the vice president and representatives of the college student council, the department-based organization, and Team Alba Youth Organization Incorporated. Are there any amendments for this clause?
Sound. Okay? So yan. Lateral line. The lateral
Again,
line
are there any amendments to this clause?
is robust. Okay? So this
Madam Chair.
lateral line is the
Yes, kindly state your name.
sense organ.
Mr. Lorente, Madam Chair.
Mr. Llorente, you are now recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I would like to first ask for a question to the author of the resolution. The question being po, it is indicated po for the college student council that the vice president and representative po will be however in department-based organization po there are no specific officers kung sino po yung included, and also